जनवालभा गिरिवरधारी चोलनामनपतजनरा Can you remove all those bottles and tea bags and all? Just slow. Network is slow or whatever. Or basement. Thank you. Narayanam namaskritya naram cheva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudirayet nashtaprayeshu bhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. We'll just see how it goes. So the next in this section is Dasyam, and then Sakhyam and Atma Nivedanam, which tomorrow His Holiness Chandamoli Swami will do. So I'm going to read from Dasyam and share something with you here. Dasyam. There is the following statement in regard to assisting the Lord as a servant. After many, many thousands of births, when one comes to understand that he is an eternal servant of Krishna, one can deliver others from this universe. If one simply continues to think that he is an eternal servant of Krishna, even without performing any other process of devotional service, he can attain full success. For simply by this feeling, one can perform all 9 processes of devotional service. So just as, this is difficult with the audience behind, I don't know if you're making faces at me or what, but anyway. Just as we've been discussing that they're not necessarily that each is a bucket in and of themselves, but somehow they're all integrated with each other. And since we're talking of prayers and dasyam, praying to the Lord and thinking oneself and conducting oneself as a servant of the Lord, I have this little collection that I had put together a few years ago, which I really had a wonderful time researching, studying, and then praying these prayers with the devotees. So I thought I'll walk you through. If there's a mic, maybe each person can read the translation one by one if you like. So this is a garland of perfected prayers. Now those who know how to make a garland or what a garland is about, there is a string, and that string holds together a range of flowers that have different colors, different fragrances, different forms, etc. But when they individually, each flower is fantastic, but when they all come together into a garland, somehow it is very magical. And within all of these is that string that holds it together. So that string is bhakti, or as in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Sutre Manigana Iva. I am the substance that holds everything in creation together. I may not be seen by everyone. So here, all these prayers put together make a nice garland, if you will. So let's see how this works. Okay. Before we go into this whole series of prayers, there are 2 verses of invocation, just to set the mood, if you will. This is from Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th canto, 9th chapter. This is Prahlad Maharaj's prayers. Naivatmana prabhur ayam nijalabha purno manam janada vidusha karuno vrinite yadyajjano bhagavate vidadita manam tachatmane pratimukhasya yatha mukhashri. The Supreme Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is always fully satisfied in Himself. Therefore, when something is offered to Him, the offering by the Lord's mercy is for the benefit of the devotee. For the Lord does not need service from anyone. To give an example, if one's face is decorated, the reflection of one's face in a mirror is also seen to be decorated. So yesterday we were discussing that Vandanam means standing in front of the deity and glorifying. So glorification for a materialist is very satisfying for the ego. But for Krishna, it's not like he needs this kind of flattery or appreciation. He is satisfied in himself. But the offering of prayer is for the benefit of the devotee. Or for that matter, offering of anything is for the benefit of devotee. So in today's section, Dasyam, we're meant to live our life as a servant of Krishna. And which means we offer varieties of service, articles, paraphernalia, but that is meant for our benefit. And the next is same series where Prahlad Maharaj is saying, although I was born in a demoniac family, I may without a doubt offer prayers to the Lord with full endeavor as far as my intelligence allows. Anyone who has been forced by ignorance to enter the material world may be purified of material life if he offers prayers to the Lord and hears the Lord's glories. So within this is Vandanam, within this is Kirtanam, within this is Shravanam. We're all there. So with this mood, that the Lord doesn't need anything, but it is for our benefit, plus we can pray to the extent that our intelligence allows, but that it is important for getting purified of this material designation. Here's the word puyeta, means one who becomes purified of this gross ignorance that takes us away from Krishna. So with that, here's the first one. Of course, we start with our Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And if you notice, one of the themes in all these prayers, guess what the devotee is asking for? He's asking for more devotional service, or is asking for the association of devotees, because that's where devotional service opportunities are. So all these prayers are seeking more service or more opportunities for devotional service, or the opportunities for serving Krishna or Krishna's devotees. So we can recite together. Na dhanam na janam na sundarim kavitam va jagadisha kamaye mama janmani janmanishware bhavatad bhaktir rahaytuki tvayi. Mukunda, you have the mic. So go ahead.
O my Lord Jagadish, I do not pray for benedictions by which to achieve material wealth, popularity, or beauty. My only desire is to serve you. Kindly engage me in the service of the servant of your servant.
Generally, when we hear the translation of this verse, it says, Bhaktir ahaituki tvai. So that's, please engage me in devotional service lifetime after lifetime. Particularly in this purport, Prabhupada translates this as, engage me in the service of the servant of your servant, which is not different from devotional service as we understand it. Okay, next one. Ainanda tanuja kinkaram patitam mam vishame bhavambudau kripaya tava pada pankaja stitaduli sadrusham vichintaya.
O my Lord, O Krishna, son of Maharaj Nanda, I am your eternal servant, but because of my own fruit of acts, I have fallen into this horrible ocean of nescience. Now please be causelessly merciful to me. Consider me a particle of dust at your lotus feet.
Next one. This is from Prahlad Maharaj's prayers. Evam janam nipatitam prabhavahi kupe kama vikamam manuya prapatan prasangat kritvatmasat सुरसिना भगवन् गृहीता सोहम कथम न विसृजे तव भृत्य सेवाम.
My dear Lord, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, because of my association with material desires, one after another, I was gradually falling into a blind well full of snakes, following the general populace. But your servant Narada Muni kindly accepted me as his disciple and instructed me how to achieve this transcendental position. Therefore, my first duty is to serve him. How could I leave his service?
Next one. This is from Mukundamala Stotra, recited by or sung by King Kulashekara. It's quoted in Chaitanya Charitamrita by Srila Prabhupada. Majjanmana phalam idam madukaita bhare mad prarthaniya madanugraha esha eva tvad bhritya bhritya paricharaka bhritya bhritya bhrityasya bhritya iti mam smaralokanatha.
O enemy of Madhu and Kaitaba, O Lord of the universe, the perfection of my life and the most cherished mercy you could show me would be for you to consider me the servant of 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 your servant.
This whole verse is Bhritya, Bhritya, Paricharaka, Bhritya, Bhritya, Bhrityasya, Bhritya. The more the humble servant I can be of the long list of servants, that is it says, Mat Janmana Phalam Idam, that the success of my life, the fruit of, the success of my life would be, and my ardent prayer, Mat Prarthaniya, is that you show me mercy by making me the long, line of servant in the long line of servants. Next one. This is from Hari Bhakti Shuddhodaya. Akshno phalam twadasha darshanam hi tano phalam twadrusha gatra sangaha jivva phalam twadrusha kirtanam hi sudurlabha bhagavata hi loke.
O devotee of the Lord, the purpose of the visual sense is fulfilled simply by seeing you, and to touch your body is the fulfillment of bodily touch. The tongue, why does it say twice the tongue? The tongue is meant for glorifying your qualities, because in this world the pure devotee of the Lord is very difficult to find.
Alright, thank you. Next one. This is from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Shreya madhye ko na shreya jivera haya sara Krishna Bhakta Sangha Vina Shreya Nahi Ara.
Then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked, out of all the auspicious and beneficial activities, which is the best for the living entity? Purport. Ramananda Roy replied, the only auspicious activity is association with the devotees of Krishna.
We can take the one on the right, because either is fine. These are two verses that Prithu Maharaj offers. I will read both. Yavatte mayaya sprishta brahmama iha karma vihi tavad bhavat prasanganam sangasyanno bhave bhave tulayamalavenapi nasvargam na punarbhavam bhagavat sangi sangasya martyanam kimutashishaha.
Dear Lord, as long as we have to remain within this material world due to our material contamination and wander from one type of body to another and from one planet to another, we pray that we may be associate with those who are engaged in discussing your pastimes. We pray for this benediction life after life in different bodily forms and on different planets.
Even a moment's association with a pure devotee cannot be compared to being transferred to heavenly planets or even merging into the Brahman effulgence in complete liberation. For living entities who are destined to give up the body and die, association with pure devotees is the highest benediction.
Then from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10, text 9. Madchita madgata prana bodhayantah parasparam kathayantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha.
My thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me.
And it's from this book called Sri Danakeli Chintamani, written by Raghunath Das Goswami. Adadanastrinaam dantair idam yache punah punah Srimad Rupa Padam Bhoja Rajo Hamsyam Bhave Bhave. A little bit more life, please.
Taking a blade of grass between my teeth, I repeatedly beg that birth after birth I may obtain the dust of Sri Rupa Goswami's lotus feet.
This is from Sharanagati, written by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And there are 6 limbs of Sharanagati. This is from that Goptrupte Varana. Just read the English translation.
Now that I have surrendered all I possess, I fall prostrate before your house. You are the Supreme Lord. Kindly consider me your household dog. Chain me nearby and maintain me as you will. I shall remain at the doorstep and allow no enemies to enter your house. I will keep them at the bounds of the moat surrounding your home.
Here it says, Tumito Thakur means you're the master, and Tomara Kukur, I am your dog. Basically, the Goptrutve is that part of Sharanagati where one believes that one has this realization that Krishna is the only maintainer. And in the Bhagavatam, the reference is given to a domesticated or a pet animal, just as the pet animal is completely dependent on the master and just doesn't worry about his own eating and sleeping. Whatever the master provides, that's how he lives. So, therefore, the line that I am your household dog. This is the song. We'll skip that. Next, this is from 10th canto, 47th chapter, text 61. Asamaho charanarenu jushamaham syam vrindavane kimapi gulmalataushadhinam yadustyajyam sarvajanam aryapatham chahitva bhejur mukunda padavim shrutibhir vimagyam.
The gopis of Vrindavan have given up the association of their husbands, sons, and other family members, who are very difficult to give up, and they have forsaken the path of chastity to take shelter of the lotus feet of Mukunda, Krishna, which one should search for by Vedic knowledge. Oh, let me be fortunate enough to be one of the bushes, creepers, or herbs in Vrindavan, because the gopis trample them and bless them with the dust of their lotus feet.
Do you know who's offering this prayer? This is Uddhava. When he goes, Krishna sends him to Vrindavan to meet the gopis, Maharaj Nanda and Mother Yashoda, because Krishna wants Uddhava to see how the residents of Vrindavan are trying to survive in the absence of Krishna, and also to convey a message. And so when he meets them, he feels, oh, I wish I can be one of the bushes, creepers, or herbs in Vrindavan, because that's where the gopis will walk, and the dust from their lotus feet will bless me on my head. Nice prayers, huh? Just different varieties. Then from Narottam Das Thakur in his Nama Sankirtan song, verse number 7, Tadera charana sebi bhakta sanevas janame janame hoy yehi abhilash.
To be a servant of the lotus feet and to reside in the company of devotees, this is my aspiration, birth after birth.
Okay, this is similar to Prithu Maharaj offering prayer. This is in the first canto, 18th chapter. So, Tulayamalavenapi nasvargam na punarbhavam bhagavat sangi sangasya martyanam kimutashishaha.
The value of a moment's association with the devotee of the Lord cannot even compare to the attainment of heavenly planets or liberation from matter. And what to speak of worldly benedictions in the form of material prosperity, which are for those who are meant for death.
Can you pass on the mic to the ladies? Okay, this is from 3rd canto, chapter 7, verse 18. Artha bhavam vinishchitya pratitasyapi natmanaha tam chapi yushmat charana sevyaham paranude.
But my desires, sir, I am obliged to you because now I can understand that this material manifestation is without substance. Although it appears real, I am confident that by serving your feet, it will be possible for me to give up the false idea.
This is the only way to go out of or beyond the bodily conception of life, is to engage in the service of the lotus feet of Krishna. Next one is it's a continuation. Uddhava speaking to Maitreya. 3:7, 18, 19. Yat sevaya bhagavata kuthastasya madhudvishaha ratiraso bhavet tivra padayor vyasanardanaha.
By serving the feet of the spiritual master, one is enabled to develop transcendental ecstasy in the service of the personality of Godhead, who is the unchangeable enemy of the Madhu demon and whose service vanquishes one's material distresses.
Next, same. It's a continuation. Durapahi alpa tapasa seva vaikuntha vartmasu yatropagiyate nityam deva devo janardanaha.
Persons whose austerity is meager can hardly obtain the service of the pure devotees who are progressing on the path back to the kingdom of Godhead, to Vaikuntha. Pure devotees engage 100% of glorifying the Supreme Lord, who is the Lord of the demigods and the controller of all living entities.
I like this verse because it says Durapa means very difficult to attain. It says Alpatapasa, whose austerity is meager. The question is, what does meager austerity mean? What does meager austerity mean to any of you or any of us? Extreme austerity? No, meager means hardly anything. But what does hardly anything mean? Hardly meaning hardly anything. What would you say if someone were to ask you what is hardly anything? A person whose austerity is meager. What does it mean to you? Huh? What you're doing? Okay, that's what we say to others. So what I'm doing is meager austerity. We're not trying very hard. Okay, anything else? Very little effort to sadhana. Austerity is meager. It means that the internal determination to achieve this seva Vaikuntha Vartmasu. Vaikuntha Vartmasu means those who are following the path of taking them to Vaikuntha, which is the devotees. That the austerity is not strong enough, the determination is not strong enough to somehow or the other crave for the association or service of Vaikuntha Vartmasu, which means there's always room for improvement. Next, Canto 4, Chapter 9, Text 11. Bhaktim muhu pravahatam tvayime prasango bhuyadanantamahatam amalashayanam yenanjasobbanamuru vayasam bhavadhim nesye bhavad gunakathamrutapamatihi. It's a little difficult to read. But go ahead.
Dhruva Maharaj continued, O unlimited Lord, kindly bless me so that I may associate with great devotees who engage in your transcendental, loving service constantly, as the waves of a river constantly flow. Such transcendental devotees are completely situated in an uncontaminated state of life. By the process of devotional service, I shall surely be able to cross the nascent ocean of material existence, which is filled with the waves of blazing fire-like dangers. It will be very easy for me, for I am becoming mad to hear about your transcendental qualities and pastimes, which are eternally existent.
Jai Jagannath is acting out the verse. That's great. Okay, next one. Canto 4, Chapter 20, Text 24. Na kamayena tatadapi aham kvachin na yatra yushmat charanambucha swaha mahattamantir hridayan mukhachutyo vidastva karnayutamesha me varaha. Okay.
My dear Lord, I therefore do not wish to have the benediction of merging into your existence, a benediction in which there is no existence of the nectarian beverage of your lotus feet. I want the benediction of at least 1,000,000 ears, for thus I may be able to hear about the glories of your lotus feet from the mouths of your pure devotees.
Recently we heard this. Who's Prithu Maharaj is offering this, but she quoted this. She may also be feeling like that, but I don't know. This is, she said, one of her favorite verses. She's quoting this. Very beautiful. It says, Na yatra yushmat charanambuja savaha. Asavaha is the beverage. And the beverage of your lotus feet. Nectarian beverage of your lotus feet. So, Karana Ayutam means 1,000,000 ears to hear your glories. Okay. So same prayer, next verse. Sauttama shloka mahan mukhachuto bhavat padamboja sudha kanailaha smritim punar vismruta tattva vartamanam kuyoginam no vitarati alam varaihi.
My dear Lord, you are glorified by the selected verses uttered by great personalities. Such glorification of your lotus feet is just like saffron particles. When the transcendental vibration from the mouths of great devotees carries the aroma of the saffron dust of your lotus feet, the forgetful living entity gradually remembers his eternal relationship with you. Devotees thus gradually come to the right conclusion about the value of life. My dear Lord, I therefore do not need any other benediction, but the opportunity to hear from the mouth of your pure devotee.
Right. So we heard about the saffron particles and the dust of in the lotus feet of Krishna. Okay, next one is continuation. Yasha Shivam Shushrava Arya Sangame Yadrachaya Chopashrunoti Te Sukrit Katham Gunogno Viramed Vinapashum Shriryat Pravarve Gunasangrahe Chaya.
My dear highly glorified Lord, if one, in the association of pure devotees, hears even once the glories of your activities, he does not, unless he is nothing but an animal.
We picked the right words for you to speak.
It's an inside joke from, we just discussed this verse upstairs.
Oh, okay.
We said this should be our anthem before the class. He is nothing but an animal, he does not, unless he is nothing but an animal, give up the association of devotees. For no intelligent person would be so careless as to leave their association. The perfection of chanting and hearing about your glories was accepted even by the goddess of fortune, who desired to hear of your unlimited activities and transcendental glories.
A powerful verse, huh? Power packed. Okay, this is from Canto 6, Chapter 11, text 24. Aham hare tava padaikamula dasanudaso bhavitasmi bhuyah manasmareta supatir gunamste granita va karma karotu kayah. Who's speaking this?
This is
Vritrasura speaking. Go ahead.
O my Lord, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, will I again be able to be a servant of your eternal servants, who find shelter only at your lotus feet? O Lord of my life, may I again become their servant, so that my mind may always think of your transcendental attributes, my words always glorify those attributes, and my body always engage in the loving service of your Lordship.
So we notice that all devotees, including starting from Lord Brahma, offer prayers like this, where Lord Brahma says that one should offer prayers to Krishna with one's, or one should offer service with one's body, mind, and words. Here also he's saying, Manaha Smareta, that I may remember. Asupate means the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then it says Gunamste, that I may always remember all your wonderful qualities in my mind. Granita Vak, that I may glorified by my words. And Karma Karotu Kaya, and may my body also be engaged in such glorification of you, of your servants. So the same Vritrasura continues. Mamottama shloka janeshu sakhyam samsara chakre brahmatasva karmabhi tvanmayayatma majadara geheshu asakta chittasya nanatha bhuyat.
O my Lord, my Master, I am wandering through this material world as a result of my fruitive activities. Therefore I simply seek friendship in the association of your pious and enlightened devotees. My attachment to my body, wife, children, and home is continuing my spell of your external energy, but I wish to be attached to them no longer. Let my mind, my consciousness, and everything I have be attached only to you.
Oh man. You offered the prayer, so be ready. So this is from Prahlad Maharaj's prayers, 7th canto, 9th chapter, text 24. Tasmadamustanubhrutam ahamashishognya ayushriyam vibhavam aindriyam avrinchyat nechami te vilulitan uruvikramena kalatmanopanaya mam nijabhritya parshvam.
My dear Lord, now I have complete experience concerning the worldly opulence, mystic power, longevity, and other material pleasures enjoyed by all living entities, from Lord Brahma down to the ant. As powerful time, you destroy them all. Therefore, because of my experience, I do not wish to possess them. My dear Lord, I request you to place me in touch with your pure devotee, and let me serve him as a sincere servant.
So we may argue that we don't have complete experience yet of the worldly opulence because we're not so rich, or mystic power or longevity. So we still have time before we can offer this prayer. It's not like that. We have to learn from the experience of Prahlad Maharaj. Okay, same prayer continuing. Evam janam nipatitam prabhavahi kupe kamabhikamam manuya prapatan prasangat kritvatmasat surashina bhagavan gruhita Soham katham nu visuje tava bhritya sevam. So this is there in the earlier part, and this is again, so it's a repeat thing. Okay, next one. You know who's offering this prayer? 5th canto, chapter 18, text 10. Prahlad Maharaj is offering. This verse appears after the two famous verses of glorifying Nrsingadev. So here. Magaradaratmachavitta bandhusu sango yadisyad bhagavat priyeshu naha ya pranavritya paritushta atmavan siddhyat duran tatendriya priyaha.
My dear Lord, we pray that we may never feel attraction for the prison of family life, consisting of home, wife, children, friends, bank balance, relatives, and so on. If we don't have some attachment,
If we do have some attachment.
If we do have some attachment, let it be for devotees, whose only dear friend is Krishna. A person who is actually self-realized and who has controlled his mind is perfectly satisfied with the bare necessities of life. He doesn't try to gratify his senses. Such a person quickly advances in Krishna consciousness, whereas others who are too attached to material things find advancement very difficult.
Okay, next one. Same series of prayers. Next one, text 11. Yat sangalabdham nijavirya vaibhavam tirtham muhu samprashatam himanasam harati ajonanta shruti ko vai na seveta mukunda vikramam.
By associating with persons for whom the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Mukunda, is the all-in-all, one can hear of his powerful activities and soon come to understand them. The activities of Mukunda are so potent that simply by hearing of them one immediately associates with the Lord. For a person who constantly and very eagerly hears narrations of the Lord's powerful activities, the absolute truth, the personality of Godhead in the form of sound vibrations, enters within his heart and cleanses it of all contamination. On the other hand, although bathing in the Ganges diminishes bodily contaminations and infections, this process and the process of visiting holy places can cleanse the heart only after a long time. Therefore, who is the sane man who will not associate with the devotees to quickly perfect his life?
Next one. Something wrong? Oh, really? Okay. 32 of 32. Any questions, comments? Oh, you have a question about...
There was the verse in 3:7:20, Canto 3.
Canto 3?
About meager austerity.
Yeah, meager austerity.
And I was wondering if you could elaborate a little bit on how to get out.
I liked, what's his name, Jai Baladev's answer. It's what I do. We call that meager austerity, whatever I do.
So how does one get out of meager austerity?
What is that?
How does one get out of meager austerity?
How does one get out of meager austerity? Well, if I knew, I would have done it. How does one get out of it? There's a verse that came after that. Let me look at it 1 second here. Here's the one about Alpa Tapasa. So here's the actually answer for this one. Because what is weakening our determination is the these where is it says I'll be able to cross the nascent ocean of material existence, which is filled with waves of blazing fire-like dangers. So the point is, at least what I've understood is that the association of the pure devotees of Krishna, or the privilege of offering some service to Krishna and his devotees uh, comes at a price. Although it's very easily accessible, Krishna very liberally provides opportunities, it comes at a price for the fruit of it. The fruit is love for Krishna. So the price to pay is here it says in the opposite says alpa tapasa. So the price to pay for it is staying determined and determined to achieve the fruit. It's called perseverance, to not give up. Generally the tendency is to give up fairly quickly because we may get knocked in the head once, twice, 50 times, maybe 100 times, and then we think, man, I've tried it 100 times, it's not working, let me just give it up. What is Krishna looking for from us is, it doesn't matter, maybe 1,000,000 times we may get a slap on the face, we won't give up. So that is that the determination to continue. Because what is on the other side of the anarthas is that wonderful service to Vaikuntha Vartmasu, to those persons who are progressing on the path of kingdom of God, Vaikuntha. And that's what we want. And at any cost, at any price. So the idea is to first appreciate that that is worth pursuing. If it's not clear for us that, hey, it's really not that worth or worth it, then one may give up. So we are meant to hear. Here it says, Yatra upagiyate nityam. These persons are constantly glorifying. Nityam, upagiyate means singing the glories of Krishna. So that by that hearing process, our determination to receive that fruit of service, so that relationship becomes fully settled in the heart. So that the point is, now from a practitioner's perspective, when our hearing of Krishna Katha becomes weak, our determination to achieve the fruit also weakens. So the way we strengthen our determination is by hearing every day, regularly, constantly, because it reinforces what a value it is, what a privilege it is to have a relationship with Krishna. And Krishna's pure devotees, Vaikuntha Vartmasu. So that's in the consciousness. Then there is activity that supports that consciousness. Because Prabhupada said bhakti is not just devotion, but devotional service. So that determination that we carry inside should manifest, or we need to manifest it as activities that show that determination is there. Anything else? Himanshu? Oh, Rohit has the mic. Rohit first.
Hare Krishna.
Hare.
Can we talk about the verse that had servant 6 or 7 times in there?
Yeah,
Can
Kulashekara, King
yeah,
Kulashekara.
Can you tell me your thoughts on why he wanted to be so far?
Why he wants to be so far away?
Or maybe not far away, that's not the right term, but what was his mindset in wanting to be the servant of the servant several times?
Okay, yeah, there you go. This is, first of all, you know of King Kulashekara, right? How many of you know who King Kulashekara was? So he's one of the Alvars, or these great personalities who were like at the pinnacle of exhibition or expression of bhakti towards Lord Krishna. Specifically, King Kulashekara was very attached to Lord Ramachandra. And he was a king with this attraction, and the idea of being directly Krishna's servant. I am Krishna's servant is considered to be an expression of pride or even arrogance. I am so great that I am Krishna's immediate servant. So the expression of humility, which is, oh, I'm not Krishna's direct servant, I'm the servant of his servant. And the more humility is, I'm the servant of this. I find myself so tiny that I'm actually serving so far away. And I find that very, very fantastic and as satisfying as serving Krishna directly. Otherwise, we may neglect or not give the same or even higher regard to devotees in comparison to Krishna. So being the servant of the devotee of Krishna is considered to be even higher in terms of devotion. So he's begging not for, I want to be that special guy right in the front of the line, but I want to be the guy who's happy serving the servant of your servant of the servant of the servant, so far removed. And I'm satisfied there. Because I find the greatest treasure of love for you in that position far away. It doesn't mean I don't access Krishna, it means that definitely I do. That's one understanding. Another is the appreciation for what we call disciplic succession. So disciplic succession is the long list of acharyas coming down to the current person who's connecting us to Krishna. And King Kulashekara is saying that if I serve this person who's in the long line of servants of Krishna, I find the same connection with you. I don't have to jump over this devotee to go directly. Yeah? Okay. Himanshu?
I had a question about the verse by Vritrasura.
Vritrasura. Do you know the slide number?
24. Yeah.
6 canto. Yeah.
No, it's just interesting. This verse, he says, "May I again become their servant, so that my mind may always think of your attributes, my words always glorify your attributes." So it's kind of, this is what we want for our spiritual life. We always want to be thinking about Krishna, and we want our words to be used properly. Of course, that's not our condition. So in one sense, we're sort of giving like the whole process, that you become a servant of the spiritual master, and then automatically your mind will become absorbed. And so could you speak on this just a little bit? How does that happen?
What was the other phrase you said just now?
Or like it just happens? Like that's just naturally what
No,
happens?
it doesn't just happen. That's not the point. It is very much in the mood of Rupa Goswami's teaching that bhakti is not just something that happens, it is something that is cultivated. So this verse where he says, Dasanudaso bhavitasmi bhuyaha, that when I become the servant of the servant, think of it in relation to Anya Bilashita Shunya verse. Being the servant of the servant is where my Krishna Anushilanam happens, where Anukulyena, in a favorable disposition, that happens. And Manasmaretashu, because the mind, according to Rishabdev, is filled, right? It's filled with fruitive desires. He calls it karmatmaka. Karmatmakam means the mind is filled with fruitive desires. And the outcome of that is karmatmakam yena sharira bandha. One becomes bound by another body. So he's saying, let me again, so that when the mind is filled with desires, thoughts about Krishna, then one becomes free from bodily engagement. And he's standing right there at the brink of death, waiting to become free of that particular body. But he's saying, I don't want another body anymore. So the more I become the servant of the servant, then pure bhakti will manifest in me. Anya bhilashita shunya jnana karma dinavid. Anukulena Krishna anushilana. That's what happens when one is the servant of the servant, or in the association of devotees. Because then he says, Granita vak and karma karotu kaya. So now this is what we say, anushilana, with the mind, with the body, with words. So this is pure devotional service. He's asking for pure devotional service in the association of devotees. He's confident that if he's in the association of devotees, that's what will manifest for him. Now it's not automatic per se. The one is cultivating devotional life. Fine? Okay. Any other final question, thought? Ladies? Those in the back? Anyone else? Jai Baldev, you have something? Is that a yes? Okay.
One point maybe you could elaborate on, one point I appreciated when Mother Lakshmani was here a while ago. She said the best way to learn something is to teach it. And of course, most of us won't give Bhagavatam, or we won't, speak in at a university. So from our perspective, how important is it to, because she mentioned yesterday that the best way we can help ourselves to help others, but how important is it to, do something like write, I'm a writer, so I bias perspective, but how important is it to do something where we cultivate the teaching, otherwise just hearing all the time and not repeating them to others? It seems like we can absorb it, so can you elaborate on that point?
Yeah, teaching doesn't necessarily mean that one is sitting on a high seat and others are sitting low, and you don't know something and I'm giving you something you don't know. What that means is, where's that verse where Krishna says, Mad chitta madgata prana bodhayanta parasparam, that we discuss with each other. It means the opportunity for sharing each other's understanding, sharing each other's realization or realizations is necessary. One may not be necessarily teaching per se, one is teaching in the sense that by that sharing, one inspires each other, right? Parasparanu kathanam pavanam bhagavat yashaha. That's the verse Jai Jagannath that once picked, and I think we all were bouncing with joy after that, just hearing that verse. And he and I have spoken on this together so many.
What's the English of it?
Well, it means that, paraphrasing, that when devotees get together and they speak Krishna Katha, they discuss Krishna Katha, mitho tushtir, they mutually satisfy each other, or that mutually the hankering in the heart is quelled. Mitho ratihi, that they inspire each other to become even more attached to and attracted to Krishna and Krishna's devotee or bhakti. And mitha pravritir nivritir mitha atmanaha, that they tell each other, I'm struggling with this thing, that's a difficulty for me, I will give this up. And the other says, very good, I will also give up such and such thing that I'm struggling with. I will also make an effort to give it up. So they mutually inspire each other to go beyond their shortcomings, etc. Okay, 8:30, 28. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. So the goal is, if